Do you really believe that Scorpio is just another zodiac sign? What if, in fact, he is the hidden key to a prophecy that few have had the courage to decipher? Among all signs, Scorpio carries a mark that cannot be ignored, a spiritual power so intense that it can both heal souls and devastate destinies. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, left enigmatic messages about this sign, revelations that have never been fully understood, until now. Maybe you felt this, a silent strength within you, goosebumps that come out of nowhere, dreams that seem more like visions, intuitions that are confirmed. Coincidence? Or a direct call from the universe? Scorpio isn't just energy, it's mission. It is shadow and light mixed in one spirit, a chosen spirit. There are spiritual forces that still protect Scorpio, but also test them, because with great power comes great burden. Many born under this mark face deep pain, inexplicable losses, silent betrayals. But what if this is all part of an ancient prophecy, waiting to be understood by whoever bears this seal? If you are a Scorpio or feel that this energy surrounds you, understand, this message did not reach you by chance. There are secrets being revealed now, and what comes next could completely change the way you see your own soul. Stay with me, because in the next few words you'll discover what Edgar Cayce saw, and why Scorpio was marked from before he was born. If, while listening to these words, something inside you awakens, then write in the comments now, "I carry this energy." Your comment is not just a response, it is a stamp, it is an answered call, because when you write, you activate that spiritual connection and declare to the universe that you are ready to remember who you really are. This video is not just another content about astrology, it is a message for souls who know that they are not here by chance. If you feel that Scorpio is not just your sign, but a deep part of your essence, this is the time to take a stand. And the simplest way to show this is to leave a like right now. This helps this message reach other people who also need to wake up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do so now. This journey goes far beyond this video. In the next chapters, we will delve into even deeper mysteries, forgotten revelations, and spiritual codes that link you to what Cayce predicted decades ago. Each video here is a piece of your spiritual puzzle. Your registration is more than a click. It is a commitment to your own transformation. And at the end of this video, I'll show you something that has never been revealed about Scorpio, and why it is considered the guardian of the soul's most dangerous transitions. Are you ready for this? So keep watching. You are beginning to realize that there is something about you that goes beyond what others see. Perhaps you have already felt that you carry within your chest an indomitable, profound force that is difficult to explain. As if something was constantly boiling inside your soul. It's not anger, it's not sadness. It's a silent, almost dangerous power that pulses. And the most curious thing, no one around him seems to understand. When you try to explain, it seems like you are speaking a language that only you know. And this often makes you feel alone, as if the world doesn't have space for who you really are. But between us, Scorpio was never meant to fit in. Scorpio did not come to be understood easily. He came to challenge, to regenerate, to tear away the veil of illusion and reveal what is hidden in the darkest corners of human existence. And this gift, because yes, it is a gift, is only granted to those who have the courage to face their own shadow. Edgar Cayce already said, "The Scorpio spirit is a portal, a direct access to deeper dimensions of the soul and time." And that's why this sign was marked, chosen, sealed with a spiritual calling. You may not remember the moment you were touched by this energy. Maybe she was born with it. Maybe she woke up after some great pain, a grief, a betrayal, a fall that made you look inside like never before. The truth is that Scorpio does not awaken through ease, but through pain. It is in wounds that he finds his true power. It's when everything seems lost that something lights up inside, something old, ancestral, like a memory that doesn't belong to this life. And it's at this point that many of you start to wonder, why me? Why do I feel too much? Why do I absorb other people's pain? Why do I see what no one else sees? Why do I sense it before it happens? Why does my intuition protect me, but also isolate me? This is no coincidence. This is a spiritual mark. It's as if the universe had given you a vision beyond the obvious. But with it came the answer, responsibility. Because Scorpio, more than any other sign, carries within itself the key to transformation. And transformation, as you know, hurts, it tears down, rebuilds, and others are not always prepared for the energy you emanate. There are those who fear you, there are those who avoid you, there are those who say that you are too intense, too mysterious, too deep. But what these people don't understand is that you weren't born to be shallow. You were born to dive, to touch the invisible, to decipher what is beyond words. Your silence says more than 1,000 voices. Your presence is uncomfortable because it reveals what is hidden in others. You function as a sacred mirror, a reflection of the shadows that many don't want to see. And that, my brother or sister on the journey, is one of the greatest challenges of the Scorpio soul, being seen as a threat when, in reality, all you want is to heal. But really heal, not with sweet words or easy promises, but with raw truth, with depth, with real transformation. And for that, you need to carry this duality within you, light and shadow, life and death, end and beginning. The Scorpio cycle is not linear, it is spiraled. It takes you down only to launch you even higher later. But few have the courage to go all the way. Edgar Cayce said that Scorpios would be the healers of the future, but not those who wear robes or cute words, curators of silence, from intuition, the presence that transforms just by being there. He said that Scorpio is the sign most connected with the astral plane, with the collective unconscious, with the soul of the world. This is why many of you have such vivid dreams, out-of-body experiences, constant feelings of déjà vu. You must have already felt this, as if you were experiencing something that already happened, or as if you were experiencing pain that is not yours, and they are. Because part of the spiritual mission of those who carry this energy is to transmute the pain of the world. That's why you feel so much. That's why you're so silent. That's why you carry scars that no one sees. But now I need to tell you something that you may never have heard so clearly. None of this is a mistake. Nothing you experienced was in vain. All his falls, the moments when he felt he was broken, were part of a spiritual stoning. The universe didn't test you for nothing. He prepared you. He forged you like iron. And now the time has come to remember who you are. You are not alone. You never were. There is a lineage of Scorpio souls spread across the world, ancient, wise, silent, who carry the same mark as you. And they are all starting to wake up at the same time. Because the time of prophecy has arrived. And now more than ever, the world needs those who have the courage to look into the shadows and not run away. From those who know that within the darkness, there is also light. But not just any light, a light that transforms. What a cure, that resurrects. So, if you've come this far and felt every word vibrate inside your chest, know that it's not by chance. And it's not just a video, it's a sign, a reminder that your path is not over, that what you carry inside, you may be dangerous to those who don't understand, but it is sacred to those who recognize it. And if this truth touched you in some way, I want you to tell me now in the comments, I carry this energy. Don't hesitate. Write, declare, because when you comment, you seal, you confirm what your soul already knows. What's more, you help other people like you to recognize themselves. Together, we will form this chain of conscious Scorpios, ready to awaken. And if you haven't liked this video yet, do so now. This shows YouTube that this content matters. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Because this journey is just beginning. There are still revelations that will move your soul in ways you never imagined. Let's move forward together. Get ready. What comes next is even more profound. According to Edgar Cayce, Scorpio did not come to go unnoticed in this world. He described those born under this energy as souls who carry deep codes of spiritual transformation, souls who, in silence, tamper with the invisible structures of reality. Scorpio, for Cayce, was the sign of regeneration and the end. Not just any end, a symbolic, necessary sacred end. The end of the old me, the end of standards that no longer serve, the end of masks, lies, repetitive cycles that prevent the soul from evolving. Cayce said that those born under Scorpio carry with them the gift of cutting off what needs to die, and that is why they are so often misunderstood. Scorpio energy is surgical. She does not tolerate lies, superficiality, false comfort. She wants the truth, even if it hurts. Therefore, Edgar Cayce saw in Scorpio not only a sign of hidden strength, but of a cosmic mission, something that extends beyond this life. Many of those born under this vibration bring with them memories of other existences, scars that have no name, but are embedded in the energetic body. It's as if the soul, from an early age, already knew that it would have to deal with pain that wasn't just its own. As if I had accepted a responsibility that goes beyond the personal, a collective mission of healing and rupture. Cayce noted that Scorpio carries a direct link to the astral plane, which is why you feel it before you know it. You feel it, even without proof. You see beyond the obvious. You capture vibrations, intentions, presences. This is not imagination. This is heightened spiritual sensitivity, and not everyone has it. What in many signs manifests as reason, logic, or direct action, in Scorpio appears as psychic perception, like a silent reading of other people's energy. Cayce understood that this ability, although powerful, is a burden, because the more you see, the harder it is to pretend you didn't see it, and the world demands this pretense all the time. Bring lightness, smile, simplicity, but Scorpio, when he lives his essence, cannot hide behind masks. You've already noticed this, haven't you? That when you try to be normal, something goes off inside. You, as if your soul lost its shine, your presence became opaque, your intuition became silent. This happens because Scorpio did not come to shape itself, came to provoke, to shake structures, to awaken consciences. And the price for this, sometimes, is being misunderstood, isolated, even feared. But Cayce reinforced, this misunderstanding is part of the preparation. Those chosen for profound transformations always walk alone for a while. What Cayce saw in Scorpio was the initiator archetype, one who, by touching a life, generates change, even if you don't say a word. This is why you may have noticed that people around you change after meeting you. Sometimes they move away, sometimes they go into crisis, sometimes they blame you for something they don't understand. But deep down, it's because you activated a memory in them, a mirror, a conscience that was dormant. This is your gift, but it is also your cross. Because to carry that power, you need inner strength. You have to deal with your own shadow before touching the shadow of others. Cayce also spoke of Scorpio as a sign of portals, transition portals between worlds, between dimensions, between states of consciousness. It's no wonder that so many Scorpios are fascinated by topics such as life after death, deep spirituality, psychology, ancient mysteries, occult symbolism. It's as if, intuitively, you seek to understand something that your soul already knows, but that your mind cannot yet fully access. This is yet another sign of your spiritual connection, and it's no wonder you're here hearing these words. Something inside you recognizes this truth. Scorpio, for Cayce, was also the guardian of spiritual secrets. And this makes sense, because many of you carry within you knowledge that you did not learn in this life, a silent wisdom that appears at the right times, an intuitive knowledge that guides you, even when everything seems to fall apart. But be careful, this connection with the invisible requires responsibility. Cayce warned that just as Scorpio can be a source of healing, it can become a channel of destruction if it is not in alignment with the soul itself. This is why self-reflection is vital. That's why you feel the effects of your choices so intensely. There is no middle ground for Scorpio. Either you give yourself over to your spiritual mission, or you feel the anguish of being disconnected from your purpose. And this disconnection can manifest itself as existential emptiness, identity crises, feelings of loss of direction. But all these sensations are invitations from the universe, invitations to return to your center. Cayce said that when Scorpio runs away from its essence, spiritual gifts fade away, intuition weakens, the body gets sick, because you weren't born to live small. You were born to be a channel between the visible and the invisible, between the past and the future, between the sacred and the profane. And that's why now, more than ever, it's time to remember who you are, not as a sign in the horoscope, but as a soul. Like a spirit on a mission, Scorpio is living transformation. It is symbolic death and conscious rebirth. It is hidden fire. It's intense healing. And every experience you've had so far, especially the most difficult ones, has been part of your spiritual training. Don't forget that, because Cayce said, the greatest healers are forged in the greatest pains. and that includes you. Now, if you are still here, it is because you feel something moving inside you. Maybe it's your spiritual memory coming back. Maybe it's confirmation of something you've always known, but never had the courage to say out loud. Perhaps this is just the beginning of a deeper awakening. And if so, I want to invite you to leave this energy on record, right here in the comments. I carry this energy. Say it firmly. Dig with intention. Say it as a silent pact with your own destiny. If you want, you can also write, I am a portal in transformation. This phrase carries a deep vibration, and when said by someone who really feels it, it activates codes that were dormant. And before we move on, take the opportunity to enjoy this video. This is more than a gesture. It's a signal to the spiritual algorithm and YouTube that this message needs to reach other Scorpio souls. And if you haven't signed up yet, do so now. What's to come in the next revelations goes beyond everything we've talked about so far. There is still a lot to be said. And the next words could be the ones that will make you understand why you lived everything you did. Maybe you still don't know clearly why so much pain visited you so soon. Why, at crucial moments, the people you trusted most walked away, betrayed you, or simply couldn't keep up with you. Maybe you still have wounds inside you that no one has ever seen, that you have never been able to put into words, but that continue to throb behind the scenes of your soul. But now, finally, everything starts to make more sense. Because Scorpio was not designed to have an easy life. He was shaped to withstand what others could not. Pain, however unfair it may seem, is not random in a Scorpio's life. She is a code, a spiritual marker, a polishing process. Scorpio is trained in pain because it is the only sign capable of going through it deeply and still coming out the other side transformed. Not with a superficial smile on your face, but with deeper eyes, a stronger soul, and a clearer purpose. Cayce knew this. He said that those chosen spiritually, those who came with a hidden mission, would be marked early, and marked by losses, by silence, by abandonment, and by the constant need to be reborn. It's as if the universe from the beginning said, you need to learn to die while alive because you will help others to be reborn. And you've experienced this more than once. He has already died in profound silences, in tears that no one saw, in nights without hope. You've had to pretend that everything was fine when, inside, everything was falling apart. But still you continued, not because it was easy, but because there was something inside you that just refused to give up. A spark, an invisible force, a spiritual instinct that pushed you to follow. And that instinct is the signal. The pain you carried, and perhaps still carry, is not punishment. It's called. Every experience of loss, of rejection, of injustice, of loneliness, was a hidden reminder that you do not belong in the shallow layers of existence, that your soul is old, that your presence here has a reason. That's why you feel different, loves differently, intuits differently. While many run from the abyss, you sit on the edge of it and stare. You look darkness in the face because you know that it is where the gold of the soul lives. The Scorpio journey requires emotional courage, but it also requires detachment. How many times have you had to let go of someone you still loved? How many times did you have to close cycles that your heart insisted on keeping open? How many times has the end come without warning, like a symbolic but inevitable death? It didn't break you, it woke you up, because over time, you began to realize that nothing is permanent, except your essence. Everything around you can change. The people, the places, the beliefs, but what beats inside you continues. This force that resurfaces every time the world says, it's over. And that's where the key is. Pain, in Scorpios, does not destroy. It activates layers of the soul that were dormant, activates gifts that only reveal themselves after everything seems lost. It activates a type of consciousness that only those who have been through fire understand. For this reason, Cayce called Scorpio the guardian of the portals of rebirth, because you know the process. You have experienced symbolic death more than once, and you know how much it changes the way you see life. You know that after falling and getting up so many times, you never come back the same. You come back wiser. And this wisdom does not come from books. It comes from the abyss, from silence, from experience. It is a silent, intuitive wisdom that makes you a guide without having to lead. Scorpio doesn't lead with their voice, they lead with their presence, with the intensity of the gaze, with the firmness of someone who has already lived what he is saying. And that's why so many trust you without knowing why. So many open up, confess, seek you out in moments of crisis, because even without realizing it, they feel that you are a safe field, a sacred space where they can be who they are. Only rarely does anyone ask you who holds your space, who welcomes you when you are the one who falls apart, who sees you behind the strength you demonstrate. Scorpio carries the pain of the world on its shoulders, but often has nowhere to rest its own. And yet, it continues, because that's what the mission demands. And now that you understand why it all happened, you begin to realize that each pain had a meaning. Each loss pushed you to the center. Each fall brought you closer to your spiritual core. You have not been broken. You have been refined. And now, you are ready to understand that the power that pulses within you is not a burden. It's a gift. A dangerous gift, yes, because it demands responsibility, but a sacred gift, because it transforms everything it touches. That's why many people envy you, without understanding why. They feel your presence and are uncomfortable because they cannot decipher what it activates. And they don't know that what made you so intense, so true, so magnetic, was exactly what you survived. That's why now I want to propose something, a way for you to record this stage of your journey. If this text spoke to your soul, if you recognized yourself on this journey, write here in the comments, "My pain awakened my mission." Write this sentence as a seal, as a right. And if you prefer something more direct, comment, "I was reborn from pain." This is not just a comment, it is a spiritual confirmation, a silent declaration that you understand, which he accepted, which is ready to continue. And as always, if you haven't liked this video yet, click now. This helps the message expand to other Scorpio souls who need to hear it. And if you haven't signed up yet, sign up now. What is to come will touch even deeper points of your essence. Let's follow along, because the next revelation will show you why certain signs appear when you least expect them, and what they really mean for your spiritual mission. Now that you've begun to see that every pain was preparation for something greater, you need to speak clearly about what few have the courage to admit. Scorpio's power is dangerous. Dangerous because it's real, because it's intense, because it moves, because it transforms, but also because it hurts, pushes away, confronts, and disarms. This power is not neutral. It carries the polarity of creation and destruction. And this energy, if not channeled with spiritual awareness, can turn against yourself or against others. Scorpio is like a hidden blade, a force that can cut emotional ties, free consciences, heal deep traumas, or generate almost invisible but slow healing wounds. Cayce said that Scorpio doesn't just go through fire, he is the fire, but an ancient, spiritual fire that carries memories of other lives, traces of forgotten, magic, soul pacts, and a magnetism that no other sign possesses. It's no surprise that Scorpio effortlessly attracts attention, dominates environments even in silence, and often awakens intense reactions in people without even having said a word. That's not charm. This is energy. You felt it. Have you ever noticed when someone looks at you and immediately feels threatened, hypnotized, or enchanted? Have you ever noticed how your words, spoken firmly and truthfully, seem to pierce inner layers in others? It's not because you want to. It's because your presence has this spiritual weight, and that is exactly why your energy has been sealed with one of the most challenging tests a soul can receive, self-control. Because the same gift that heals can destroy, the same intuition that protects can manipulate, the same force that awakens can paralyze. The temptation to use this power reactively is great, especially after having suffered so much, having been so misunderstood, misinterpreted, used, betrayed. It's natural to want to defend yourself. If it closes, fight back, cut ties, isolate yourself. But this is where the real spiritual challenge for those who carry this archetype lies. Not giving in to the impulse of a wounded ego. Scorpio is called to constantly evolve from revenge to compassion, from reactivity to wisdom, from pain to alchemy. And this doesn't happen overnight. The journey requires constant vigilance, reflection, humility, and connection with something greater than one's own pride. Because yes, it's easy to lose control when you carry such intense energy. It's easy to fall into the trap of, no one really understands me. It's easy to use your own silence as a shield and hide behind a cold, distant image, as if you don't care. But you care, and a lot, maybe even too much. And it is precisely because you feel everything in depth that you learn to pretend that nothing affects you. But your power is not in appearing invulnerable. Your power is in knowing that you are sensitive, yes, but that you still stand. What's more, you're here to serve, to be a channel, to guide, to impact. But to do this, you need to monitor every thought, every impulse, every emotion that passes through your soul. Scorpio's energy amplifies everything. If you think angrily, that thought gains strength. If you desire in fear, fear manifests. If you speak with resentment, the words carry poison. That's why you can't live on autopilot. You were designed to live, be awake, intentional, aligned. And when that happens, what was once dangerous becomes divine. What was once destructive becomes medicine. But this state of consciousness requires renunciation. Renunciation of small revenges, of victim narratives, of defense mechanisms that protect you but also imprison you. It's tough, but it's liberating. Because the more you honor this power with spiritual responsibility, the more it refines itself, but it expands, but it begins to act on its own, silently, like a magnetic healing field around you. And then you realize, you don't need to prove anything. You don't need to control everything. You don't need to convince anyone. You just need to be present, and everything happens. This is why spiritually, Scorpio is considered an initiator, a guardian of portals of death and rebirth. And for this reason, he is also seen as dangerous and untouchable, because not everyone is ready for what you activate. Not everyone can handle the truth you represent. You may have felt this. People who approach with fascination, but retreat at the slightest sign of depth. Relationships that start out intense, but collapse as soon as superficiality is abandoned. This happens because your presence demands truth, requires delivery, it demands soul, and not everyone is willing to undress like that. So don't blame yourself for pushing people away. Don't question yourself for being misunderstood. You are not here to please. It's here to reveal, to wake up, to transform. But remember, this role is only possible when you are in harmony with your own energy. When you don't fight it, when you don't repress it, you don't even express it unconsciously. When you accept yes, you carry something dangerous. But instead of fearing it, you choose to polish it, refine it, dignify it. And that's exactly what the universe expects from you right now. May you take on this responsibility. May you understand, once and for all, that your magnetism is not an accident, that your words have weight, that your thoughts create reality, that your touch changes frequencies, and that your energy, when it is in alignment, has the power to heal what no one else can touch. But if it is out of balance, it can also hurt without realizing it. Therefore vigilance, therefore awareness, hence the constant call to presence. Now that you've come this far, that you've absorbed these words like a mirror of your own soul, I want to invite you to seal this moment, to write in the comments with truth. My power is dangerous but sacred. And if you want to further reinforce your choice to follow this journey consciously, also comment, I choose to master my energy. That's not just a sentence, it's a key, an activation, a silent commitment between you and what is highest within you. If you haven't liked this video yet, now is the time. Your gesture helps this content reach other people who, like you, feel this call and may be without direction. And if you haven't signed up yet, click the sign up button now, because in the next few minutes we're going to dive into something that will help you understand the signs the universe sends you, and why those signs always appear when you're about to cross a new spiritual threshold. And it's at this point in the journey that many begin to realize they're not alone. Something invisible, but constant, is always around, signaling, guiding, whispering. You may have experienced sudden chills with no physical explanation. It's not the environment, it's not the wind, it's the energy changing around you. They are spiritual, subtle presences trying to get your attention. Scorpio's vibration is like a lighthouse that attracts these frequencies. And no matter how much you try to ignore it, pretend it's imagination, they continue to be there, more and more intense. Until you decide to listen, you start to notice patterns. The same number appears everywhere. You look at the clock, And there it is. 11:11, 22:22, 01:11. You walk down the street and a sign shows that same number you saw in a dream. You open a video, and the time freeze shows exactly that number that haunts you. This is no coincidence. They are codes, activation codes, signs from the invisible to remind you of your spiritual mark. Scorpio does not follow logical paths. He is guided by intuition, by signs, by symbolic layers that reveal themselves only to those who know how to see. And the dreams, oh, the dreams. If you are a Scorpio at heart, you have almost certainly had dream experiences that seemed more real than reality itself. Dreams with ancient symbols, ladders, snakes, deep waters, eyes glowing in the dark, faceless voices. Dreams in which you wake up sweating, feeling like you went through something sacred but without knowing how to explain what. This is no common dream. This is astral travel. It is spiritual guidance. These are messages that come from the plane that Edgar Cayce called consciousness of the soul. Have you ever noticed how after certain dreams, situations in your life simply change, as if something had been reorganized while you were sleeping? Yes, it was. Scorpio is naturally connected to the invisible plane. Therefore, you often feel what is coming before it happens. You enter a place and notice that the energy is strange. You meet someone, and you feel like something isn't right, even if they seem perfect on the outside. You say a sentence, and shortly after, it comes true. It's like you have early access to the next pages of life, but it also isolates you, because you can't explain this to everyone. People call it paranoia, exaggeration, invention, and you learn to keep it to yourself. But this sensitivity is not weakness. It's confirmation. You have been marked. And this mark does not appear on the body. It vibrates in the soul. It manifests itself in the regrets you feel for no reason, in the silent warnings that come out of nowhere, in the coincidences so perfect they border on the supernatural. You know when you're thinking about someone and seconds later they appear or send you a message. This is also a sign. And the more aligned you are with your Scorpio essence, the more intense these signs become. But there is an important detail. These signs are not just gifts. They are tests. They are called. They are like a whisper from the universe saying, "Are you ready to remember who you are?" The problem is that people often doubt it. They deny what they feel. They try to rationalize too much. Scorpio, however, feels it in the body. Feel it on your skin. Sit on your chest. You feel when you need to step away. Feel when someone is lying. Feel when a situation is not for you, even if everyone says otherwise. And ignoring these signs comes at a high price. Every time you don't listen to your intuition, the universe turns up the volume. And if you still continue to ignore it, the cut comes, loss comes, the crisis comes, because you can no longer afford to pretend that you are not who you are. Anyone who is spiritually marked needs to live with presence. And living with presence means being attentive to the details, to the subtext of life. When an object falls for no reason, when a light flashes, when an animal appears at a strange moment, when you feel chills in the middle of a conversation, none of this is for nothing. They are answers. They are guides. These are confirmations. And it's up to you to interpret, trust, and act. Scorpio has no right to live in automatic mode, because your every step opens or closes portals that affect other lives too. This is your spiritual responsibility. It's what comes along with the gift. You are not living an ordinary life. Your soul signed a contract before incarnating, a commitment to transformation, yours and others. And because of that, you receive more signals, more alerts, more spiritual interventions, not because it's better, but because it is necessary, because you are a key piece on the board of many stories. And like every important piece, you need to be aware, conscious, aligned. Scorpio cannot be distracted for too long, or they lose access to what matters most, the signs of destiny. Have you ever noticed how coincidences increase when you are connected with your essence? How does everything start to flow when you listen to that inner voice, even if it goes against logic? How, when you decide to trust what you feel, does life seem to reorganize itself around that decision? This is no coincidence. It's synchronicity. It is spiritual intelligence in action. And when you recognize these signals and respond to them, the universe responds even stronger. You become a channel, a lighthouse, a link between the invisible and the visible. And perhaps now, hearing these words, You are remembering signs you ignored, situations that you knew you shouldn't insist on, but you did. People you felt weren't meant to stay, but you let them stay. Words that came to your mind ahead of time, but that you silenced. And all of this, in the end, confirmed what you already knew. Scorpio intuition rarely fails, but it needs to be heard. It needs to be honored, because without this, your spiritual mission is half done, and the world misses the impact that only you can make. If all this made sense to you, now is the time to write in the comments, "I accepted my calling." Say this as someone who recognizes the signs, as someone who understands that they are being guided, as someone who is willing to listen and respond. If you prefer something more direct, you can also comment, "I see the signs." These phrases are not just words. They are portals. These are confirmations. They are silent declarations that you are ready to live as someone who has been marked by the invisible. And if you haven't liked this video yet, do so now. Your gesture helps this content reach other Scorpio souls who are exactly where you have been, awakening. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe, because in the next few minutes you'll understand why that, when you move away from your essence, the signs disappear, and what happens when the angels that accompany you become silent. The next part is one of the strongest we've ever shared here. Now that you've started to understand sign language, we need to talk about something that no one likes to hear, but that everyone needs to know. What happens when you ignore your call? What happens when you try to escape what you were born to be? There is a silent but devastating consequence for every Scorpio who betrays their own essence. We're not talking about punishment, we're talking about removal, breaking in the spiritual field, of silence where there used to be presence. Because when Scorpio pretends to be ordinary, when he tries to fit into structures that don't accommodate him, something goes out inside. It's as if the light that has always guided you dims, the intuition that was once sharp begins to fail, dreams become confusing, the spiritual connection weakens, and the signs just disappear. You feel like you are alone, who no longer listens to that inner voice, which is directionless. This happens because when you move away from your true path, you also move away from the invisible protection that has always accompanied you. The spiritual angels who walk with Scorpio are not passive. They are under constant observation. And when they realize you're ignoring their truth, they back off. Not out of malice, but out of respect for your free will. And this is where the mystical warning comes in. A subtle but urgent warning. You can't hide from yourself for long. You can even try. You can get distracted. You can fill your life with empty relationships, mechanical routines, soulless goals. But inside, a part of you screams. A part of you suffers in silence because it is not being lived. And that part, if ignored for too long, starts to turn into anguish, empty, in existential tiredness. You lose your shine. Intuition does not respond. The soul gets sick, because Scorpio's spiritual protection only remains when there is fidelity to the mission. And the most dangerous thing is that, unlike other signs, Scorpio feels this very strongly. Others manage to adapt, spend a lifetime away from their own purpose and still maintain some level of superficial peace. Scorpio, no. He feels when he is out of place. And the universe doesn't allow it to stay that way for long. Something happens. Something falls apart. Life takes a hit, a breakup, a loss. Because Scorpio needs to be forced to remember, waking up, returning. Whenever a Scorpio betrays himself, the universe creates a crisis that forces him to be reborn. Is it painful? Yes. But it's sacred. It is necessary. Because as long as you are disconnected from your essence, you are vulnerable. You will be out of your spiritual axis. And when you're off your axis, you attract situations that don't belong on your path. People who drain your energy, opportunities that sidetrack you, environments that make you sick. Everything starts to lose meaning. Everything feels heavy, because life outside the mission is a burden, and the soul knows this. She charges, she presses, she begs for reconnection. Have you ever been through this? Have you ever experienced periods where you felt like nothing was going on? That everything you touched seemed to stop, wane, move away? Have you ever felt like you were being spiritually ignored even though you prayed, even asked for signs? Maybe you just forgot who you were. Maybe he adapted too much, if muted too much, if hidden for fear of being misunderstood. But Scorpio isn't meant to be understood. It's meant to provoke, to transform, to mess with the invisible structures of the people and places he passes through. The spiritual protection that accompanies Scorpio is intense, powerful, ancestral, but it's not guaranteed. It depends on alignment, in truth, of commitment, and not with the world, with yourself. You can deceive others. You can disguise yourself, adapt, hide behind smiles and habits that seem safe, but the energy that guides you knows exactly when you are faking it. And at that moment, she stops, she retreats, she watches, until you remember. And do you know what is the clearest sign that you have moved away from your essence? The silence, the void, the absence of signs, when everything becomes too neutral, when nothing moves you, touches you, crosses you, when life loses the intensity that once defined you. This is the language of your angels saying, come back, recognize, return to your truth. But this takes courage. Courage to abandon characters. Courage to say no to what doesn't resonate. Courage to look in the mirror and admit, I betrayed myself. But the good news is that reconnection is always available. At any time you can say, I'll be back, and everything starts to reorganize itself. Scorpio's spiritual energy is not fragile. She is demanding. She demands truth, charge delivery, charge depth, and for that you feel so much. That's why you live everything so intensely, and because there is no room for middle ground within you. Either it's real or it doesn't work. And when you try to live as if you were ordinary, the universe confronts you, pushes you, shakes you, because your soul does not accept a lukewarm life. Your soul asks for fire, ask for depth, ask for truth. If you felt all of this while listening to me so far, if you recognize the phases in which you tried to escape from yourself, if you felt this spiritual distancing, this pause in the signs, this emptiness, I want to invite you now to declare that you are ready to return. Write in the comments, I return to my essence. Or if you prefer a more direct phrase, I will no longer hide. These phrases are more than words. They are bridges. They are spiritual commands. They are called to realignment. And if you haven't liked this video yet, now is the time. Your like is a sign to the universe that you recognize this content as a mirror. And if you're not registered yet, sign up. Because in the next few minutes, we're going to talk about something few people are prepared to hear. Why Scorpio was chosen to be the guardian of occult revelations, and what that means in practice for those who bear this seal. Those born under the seal of Scorpio were not chosen to have a light journey. They were called for a much greater purpose than simple survival. Scorpio didn't come to please, to smile when the soul bleeds, to fit in where the energy screams that it doesn't belong. He came to expose, to heal, to destabilize what is shallow, to illuminate what is hidden. The Scorpio soul is a spiritual torch in the midst of collective darkness, and silently carries the responsibility of being a beacon for others who have not yet awakened. And that's why Scorpio is so often misunderstood. He doesn't talk to be accepted. He speaks because he feels. And when you feel it, there's no way to contain it. When you are aligned with the truth, your simple presence opens paths, breaks old pacts, dissolves stagnant cycles, and activates invisible rebirths around you. Your energy does not beg for attention. It commands spiritual respect. Whoever is close feels it. Whoever resists moves away. Whoever opens up is transformed. Scorpio doesn't force. He simply is. And that, in itself, is enough to move the world. Around you, throughout life, Scorpios are called upon to go through symbolic deaths. Each of them destroys a part that no longer serves and reveals a new version of yourself. And with each rebirth, something purer, stronger, truer emerges. It's not about changing on the outside, but about stripping the soul of the masks, the structures, the fears that were inherited. Scorpio does not evolve by rational choice. He is taken to the edge of the abyss, and there he learns to fly. And this flight is not seen by everyone, but it is felt, vibrated, honored by the forces that govern the invisible. The universe deeply trusts whoever carries this energy. But this confidence requires positioning. It is not possible to channel the sacred by being silent, passive, oblivious to what one is. The Scorpio soul cries out for truth, and this truth is not simple. She charges. It demands ruptures, breakups, painful closures, but necessary, because only those who break old pacts can open new portals. And That is why Scorpio is glorified on the spiritual plane, because you have the courage to do what others only think, because he faces his shadow and, instead of fearing it, dances with it until they both merge into light. Scorpio's glorification is not in the clapping of the world, but in the silent bow that the universe makes each time you act with spiritual courage. It's in the way life bows before your authenticity. It's in the miracles that happen when you follow your intuition. It's in the transformation you generate in those who cross your path. And all this without fanfare, without applause, without needing to convince anyone. You just need to be. Because being for Scorpio is the greatest act of power. Have you ever noticed how even your pain turns into healing for others? How is your silence often more impactful than 1,000 words? How does your presence, even when quiet, reveal what others hide? This is a gift. This is a spiritual seal. And because of that, you were placed in this time, in this reality, in this life. Because there are portals that only you can open. There are souls that only you can reach. There are truths that only you can tell. And when you honor who you are, the spiritual world honors you in return. The paths open. Synchronicities increase. Protection becomes almost visible. The dreams intensify. Messages arrive. The numbers repeat themselves. Everything aligns, because the universe responds to the vibration of truth. And when a Scorpio vibrates in truth, he becomes a catalyst, an awakening of consciences, an alchemical storm that clears what was stagnant and makes room for the new. You are not intense by chance. You don't feel everything in depth by accident. This is part of your and spiritual engineering. It was designed like this. Your heart is not fragile. He's sharp. And every beat of it in resonance with your mission opens portals of invisible healing that spread beyond what you can measure. You are much more than you imagine. It's much more than what they told you. It's so much more than life has allowed you to remember. But now is the time to remember. And remembering for Scorpio is a spiritual act, a rite of passage, a return to where it all began, before the pain, before the fear, before the disconnection. Remembering is recognizing that your soul came with a task, and that this task is not a prison. It is a privilege, an altar that only you can build, a frequency that only you can sustain. And now that you've heard all this, you can no longer pretend you don't know, because what has been revealed to your soul cannot be forgotten. Therefore, I want to invite you now to seal this moment with a ritualistic gesture. If you felt that every word passed through you like a spiritual mirror, write in the comments, "I accept my essence." Write with your soul. Write as someone who consecrates. Write as if declaring, "I remember." And if you want to expand this vibration even further, also comment, "I am the portal between the visible and the invisible." These phrases are not just words, they are commands, they are keys. These are activated seals. And of course, if you haven't liked this video yet, click now. This simple gesture helps this message reach other Scorpio souls who are also in the process of remembering. And if you haven't signed up yet, sign up now, because in the next video, we will reveal the spiritual prophecy about Sagittarius, and the reason why this sign carries the call of sacred expansion and visionary mission, and how Scorpio and Sagittarius energy intertwine in a mystical cycle that few know about. If you've made it this far, it's no coincidence. Something inside you recognized this message as true, and if this connection was real, then now is the time to establish this link with your spiritual journey. Subscribe to the channel to continue receiving content that speaks directly to your soul, which activates memories, gifts, and revelations that were dormant. And I want to know, who stayed until the end? If you followed me this far, comment now. I'm part of this revelation. This phrase is more than a comment. It is a vibrational seal, a spiritual confirmation that you are present, awake, and on the path of returning to your essence. Leave your like right now. This shows that the message touched you and helps this video reach other souls who also need to hear what you heard. And now, before leaving, there is something very important. Watch the next video that appears here on the left side of the screen. There you will discover the next chapter of this spiritual journey, and perhaps the missing piece for everything to make even more sense. Go there, because the revelation continues.